The EDO State Anti-Open Grazing Bill submitted by the State Governor to the House of Assembly, having scaled second reading, suffered a major setback due to Clause 5, Subsection 7 of the bill, which states that a committee constituted by the State Governor will determine the size of land suitable for ranching. And so this was a major bone of contention at the House, which made it impossible for the bill to be passed. How do EDO State residents feel about this development and the contentious Clause 5, Subsection 7 of the bill? This is Report on ITV. I am Blessing AG.
This open grazing is laughable because it shows that how healthy is our country. It also shows where the country will be in the next 50 years if our governors, our leaders will be taking in this direction. When you want to give an opportunity to a private business, a government land, forcing the community to give them land to come and use it for their own business, if the people want to pay or not, the first thing is that it must be clear. Are they buying this land? If you are buying a land from any community, they will ask you, what business will you do with this land? Especially when I'm buying more than 1 acre or more than 2 plots. You will say, oh, it's for estate. Oh, it's for factory. They will tell you, this land we cannot give you for factory. We cannot give you for farming. So if you want to buy a land from any community, anybody is free to do so. Because the Constitution says that anybody have a right to buy a land or own property anywhere in Nigeria, regardless of your tribe or whoever you are, from anywhere you are coming from. I can go to Sokoto tomorrow and buy a property to build or to stay or to reside in Sokoto. It's part of our constitution. Then in the other area again is that we must know that the farmers, they are not happy with the herdsmen. They're having problem with all these Fulanis. They're having problem with these cattle rearers. So I believe that the farmer must put it into consideration if they want these people to be in their community. You cannot force yourself in my community if I don't want you. When you pass law, look at the benefit to the people and the benefit to the other people who are coming in, so that we can be a middleman between the people in the community and people are coming into the community. The area of, oh, we give them 10% or 20% is not the issue. The area is that, are they buying? If they are buying, then the community have the right to say, well, we say we want to use our land to develop areas that let build hotel, let build school. Having rashes our community, it may not give us the kind of development we want. So it's their own right, whether they will accept or not. They must not force them. That is my take on that.
According to the executive bill that was sent to the House of Assembly by the governor, specifically Clause 5(7), submitted that the governor will set up a ranch committee that will determine the portion of land that will be given to Fulani X-men to do their private business. That exasperated the thinking faculty of some members of the House of Assembly. Some members of the House of Assembly suggested that 20% of our arable land should be given to Fulani X-men to rear their cattle. Where some suggested 10% of our community land given to Fulani X-men to do their business. What is the business of government in a private business? How many indigenous of Edo, as the governor of Edo State, ceded land to do their to carry out their farming activities? Don't we have farmers in Edo State? For me, it is sad, it is sardonic, and we are saying a cabudo redetermenta to that. Cattle rearing is a private business. The governor has stated it when he met with stakeholders last year that there is no land. There is no land for ranch. There is no land that will be provided for rural settlement. Why is the governor approbating and reprobating the same time? We are going to resist the governor as far as this matter is concerned. If anybody, any businessman wants to invest in cattle business, let him go and purchase a portion of land with his money so that he can do his business. But a situation whereby the governor of Edo State is saying that he wants to cede our land to herders to do their business is a total misplace of priority.
The clause is totally unnecessary. A time came in this country where the federal government was trying to introduce rural settlement, trying to force communities or states to hand over their lands for these same cattle rearers to settle. And Edo State and other states said no to it. You cannot come and use that as a subterfuge to take over our land. Now I cannot imagine where this the Edo State House of Assembly will now be proposing such a clause in that bill that's supposed to be passed to say set aside whether 10% or 5%, whatever percentage of our land, for cattle rearing. So whatever it is that they want to use it for, cattle rearing is a private business. Whether in the north, whether in the south, everywhere it's a private business. Farmers also engage in private business. Those who rear goats, who rear chicken, they engage in private business. So would then also mean that for every other person that's engaging in any kind of farming, the state government will be proposing a bill to set aside a particular area of land for their operation, except the state government is interested in cattle rearing business. If you are a partnership in that business, you can say, okay, fine, let every community set aside their own land for that purpose, because government is going to make some earnings from that. If it's a purely private business, they should be given the landowner should be given the freedom, to negotiate with whoever it is that is interested in coming to lease or rent their land for cattle rearing business. If I want to give to you, I give to you. You cannot say I must give you 10% of my land or in a particular community or local government to set aside for ranching. So if you want to get land for ranching, government cannot force it on the people. I understand that the Land Use Act or the state government has authority over all land. If you apply for land and land is to be used for public purpose, then you can take over that any person's land and use. But you cannot take it for use for private purpose. Cattle rearers or nomadic herdsmen or whatever they call them, they are private businesses. You cannot take land for that purpose.
See other states within 3 or 1 week they've passed their own. Are we different from them? Why? And they are saying that they want to debate on the ranching or whatever. We don't need ranching here. Let individuals go to the communities and negotiate with the leaders of that community to purchase a land. It is not government priority to purchase any land for ranching. Those people into piggery or other trades. It is not government that provided land for them. It is they themselves that acquire land. What is the big deal for government to go and be looking for land for ranching? Let those who are into cow go, if possible, go back to their state. There are many parcels of land, wasted lands over there. We don't have land in Edo State. Why are we looking for lands for ranching? We don't need it. So what we want is they should sign the bill, let the governor sign the bill, because the first priority of any government is the protection of lives and property.
Well, it's obvious that people will always argue for and against in circumstances like this. Like essentially we are a people that are very careful because of what has happened over time. We have lost a lot of persons, a lot of lives have been wasted on account of finding ways to graze their flocks as it were. Now, coming to a law that will serve this purpose of open grazing and branching as it were, to expunge the open grazing, moving back and forth here and there. Now, the big question to be asked is, leaving it at the hands of, or leaving it undefined is dangerous. I think that's why they are arguing against it, and those that are speaking against it. Now, look at it critically, that if you have that at the hands, or rather those that will be saddled with responsibility, they could be influenced over time, and they could cede several lands, expanse of land, to some persons that are non-resident, and that becomes dangerous. And that's basically what the indigents will not want, and people within this environment will not want that. Now, basically, if you look at it, it's good, it's business. The land in question given to you for ranching should be defined. What best practices we should look at for experts who can tell you this is what it is. I wouldn't say 5%, 2%, as it were. Let's look at it. Let's look at it holistically and see what will be in the best interest of every individual in this state. So not just to say, well, we will leave that to the government to decide, as it were. I think that is essentially what we should be looking at. There are people that could have money, they could buy up the entire land, and those that are indigents will now become slaves and subservient to them. And what we didn't want will start happening. So it's not all about buying. We should have the local ownership still intact. It's like a lease. I think that is my own proposition.
Some Edo State residents spoken to have expressed reservation about the Clause 5, Subsection 7 of the Edo State Anti-Open Grazing Bill. They have asked that it be expunged from the bill so it can be passed by the House. I'm Blessing Aichi.